Yes, the other item we had in the newsletter was about two people named Flannery and Darwin, who wouldn't have known one another because Tim Flannery lives in Australia now and Darwin lived in England and died a long time ago. However, there is a connection. This was something that Craig actually alerted us to. He sent us some quotes from a book that was written by Tim Flannery. If you've never heard of Tim Flannery, he's a well-known environmentalist and also a campaigner on climate change. And he was honoured back in 2007 as being Australian of the Year because of his work in campaigning about the environment and about climate change. Anyway, he made this comment about natural selection in this book. Natural selection, Darwin understood from his studies, is an unspeakably cruel and amoral process. He came to realize that he must eventually tell the world that we are spawned not from godly love, but from evolutionary barbarity. And he's not, Tim Flannery is not doing Darwin an injustice here. In fact, that is the very thing that Darwin did actually conclude from about. And if you go back to Darwin's own autobiography, he writes in rather verbose language, but it is worth looking through this. This is what he wrote: a being so powerful and so full of knowledge as a God who could create the universe is to our finite minds omnipotent, meaning all powerful, omniscient, meaning all knowing, and it revolts our understanding to suppose his benevolence, that is, his goodness, is not unbounded. So God is supposedly all good. For what advantage can there be in the sufferings of millions of lower animals throughout endless time? Because if you believe in the theory of evolution, the life forms that we have on Earth today, including ourselves, are the end result of a process that has gone through millions of years, involving millions of generations of death, disease, and suffering. And in fact, Darwin's famous book, of course, The Origin of Species, has the term "the struggle for life" in its longer title. And eventually, Darwin went from believing in God to, he never became an atheist, but he did at the end of his life deny the lordship of Jesus Christ. And this is important for people who say that, well, creation is not a gospel issue. They should take notice of what happened to Darwin. And this was his response to a question that was sent to him by letter. I'm sorry, I have to inform you that I do not believe in the Bible as divine revelation, and therefore not in Jesus Christ as the Son of God. Well, how tragic is that, considering that Darwin, in his early life, originally graduated in theology. So he did actually know the Bible, but by the end of his life, he was actually denying it. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about how that happened throughout Darwin's life, we have written an article called The Descent of a Man. You can download that as a PDF from our fact file. If you just put Descent of Man in the search box there, it will come up as one of the options. And that's a useful article for looking at the history of how, when someone comes to start off doubt the authority of Scripture, where they end up. And it's quite a tragic story for someone who started off so bright and so well set up in life. If you want to get our newsletter, it is free. It's an email that comes out every few weeks, and you can sign up for it from on our website. Just go to our main website, and there's a link there that just says newsletters.